Hi, I'm Elisa Parker. We're back here at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival. We're actually hanging out here at KVMR, I should mention. It's our home base for the Wild and Scenic Film Fest Media Lounge. Last night we had a live broadcast over the air and spoke to about, over 20 special guests and filmmakers. It was so much fun just to get a little sneak peek of so many of the films that are being featured here. The films are around, a lot of times around environmental action, animals, our water and oceans, adventure, you name it. But most of all, it's around solutions-based, right? And what we can all do to get involved and make a difference. And Wild and Scenic has certainly served as a platform, right? It's like it can serve as a platform for activism. And our theme this year is a change of course. And it's really looking at what is the course of change that we need to make in the world. My guest is Gemma Tillack, and she is joining me here. She came up from the Bay Area, and we're going to talk a little bit about the film Defendant 5. You know, a lot of filmmakers, especially documentarians, it's one thing to be the observer, but more than often what happens too is they get involved and get invested. And I believe that's what happened for Heidi Lee Douglas, who we're going to talk a little about. She's the filmmaker of Defendant 5. And then you've been working on the campaign as well, Gemma.
Yeah, Heidi and I are dear friends, and so I had the privilege of working alongside her in Tasmania during the period of time that's actually documented in her autobiography.
So tell us a little bit about her story and how she got involved in Tasmania in the first place.
Yeah, so I think Heidi's story is really beautiful because it also starts from when she was a teenager and when she first picked up a video camera. She describes it that, the first time she picked up a camera, there was a bolt of lightning that she felt run through her. And I think since that moment, she's been adamantly documenting her life. And then when she was 23, she went down to Tasmania, which is this unique and beautiful island off the south coast of Australia. And she basically went there to document the destruction that was being caused to the ancient forests there by the largest wood chipping company in Australia called Gunns Ltd. Yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, her documentaries and her films were really powerful. She basically went out into the community. She was documenting the impact of industrial logging on local communities and the fights that were happening on the front lines of plantation expansion in Tassie. So her films were used by campaigners like myself and many others in the movement to inspire the decision makers basically to take action to make sure that they weren't contributing to Gunns Ltd and the destruction of Tasmania's forests. But yeah, her films were very powerful, and the company or the corporation Gunns Ltd ended up taking her and 19 others to court. So it was a slap suit or a suit that was designed to keep her from shooting more films into the future.
So, and where's she at now with all of that?
Well, she's just had her second baby, which is why she couldn't be here at the Wild and Scenic Festival herself. But she's become one of Australia's leading female filmmakers. The story of Tasmania spanned for over about a 10-year period, and it's a really powerful story because this very tight-knit community, was obviously taken to courts by the company that they were campaigning against, and that company basically failed to actually win the court case, and it was a long battle. But at the end of the day, Heidi actually won the case, or she didn't actually get fined or have any consequences from the legal proceedings.
Wow.
But the real positive outcomes were we actually managed to essentially stop that company from destroying any more forests. The company itself went under, so it went into bankruptcy. And really that bankruptcy came because it would not listen to the community and it would not stop, these really negative impacts on the forests.
That's amazing, just with Heidi's own personal involvement in this and how it really led into creating really huge impact, making a difference around that. Are you from Australia too, Gemma?
Yeah. So I grew up in North Queensland, in far North Queensland, but I moved down to Tasmania and had a similar journey of being inspired by the forests and was working as part of the community to stop the destruction of the old growth forests of Tassie.
Can you describe, here in California we have old growth, right? We have old growth redwoods, for example. What does Tasmania look like, and how does it feel to be there and be a resident of that area?
It's a beautiful wild island, and I think it has a very strong energy, and that energy has inspired many authors and activists and community members to fight for it for over 30 years. It's the island where the Green Party was founded, so it has a very long history of activism. And the forests there are magical. They're over 2,000 years old. the trees span 100 metres in height. It takes 18 of you to literally go around them.
What are the trees?
They're called tall, wet eucalypt trees.
Okay.
Yeah, the Eucalyptus regnans or the mountain ash are the giant trees that are basically the second tallest trees on the planet behind the redwoods. So yeah, to see these giant trees and the forest to be decimated for wood chips for producing paper, it's a real tragedy. And Heidi saw that and she just basically didn't stop, until we actually did see a change. And those forests are now protected in a World Heritage Area.
That is amazing. That's amazing. I want to go there now.
Yeah.
I want to go hang out and visit there. So what kind of work are you doing right now? What's your passion right now?
Yeah, well, my passion, began in Tasmania as well to save the world's rainforests. And so I have the privilege of working with a Bay Area group called Rainforest Action Network.
Yeah.
So I lead our campaigns to stop palm oil expansion in Indonesia.
Yes. Yeah. Have you been working with, oh my gosh, I can't think of her name, the Girl Scouts?
Yes.
Okay.
Maddie and Rihanna.
Maddie and Rihanna. It's terrible. I'm so sorry. I forgot their names. They came
Yeah.
here and spoke at a conference that I created.
Yeah,
they're amazing.
They're amazing individuals, and I think they've definitely helped to move a number of the bigger brands, such as Kellogg's, that are still using this ingredient in their products. But yeah, we work alongside Maddie and Rhiannon and many communities in Indonesia that really are feeling the impact of this commodity on their lives and the forest landscapes that they live within.
That's great. So as far as takeaways, what would you want to tell everyone looking at both the work you're doing around palm oil and also with Defendant 5, the old growth forests in Tasmania? How do you want that to translate to just the viewers today who might be sitting at home and thinking, how can I get involved, or or what is their purpose for getting involved too?
Like, I think, for me, one of the big takeaways from Heidi's film is to follow your passion. Like, she had this passion from an early age, and it's literally, driven her to be the successful filmmaker she is today, and she's made big changes. I think the second one is really about the power of film as a medium. Heidi's work changed the minds of banks and corporations. It's a really powerful tool that we should continue to use as activists across the world. And the third one probably is about the importance of community. In the film we see Heidi go through a lot of hard days as well, and the fact that she had her family, her partner, and was part of this movement, meant that she could get through it and really come out, at the end, a much stronger individual, and with these long time connections to people like myself and the family. So.
Great role model for her kids too.
Yeah, definitely.
Gemma, it was so great to connect with you. Thanks so much for making the trek here to be here at the Wild and Scenic Film Festival, and for all the work that you're doing. It's really impressive.
Oh, thanks so much, and thanks for the opportunity. It's a great festival, and we want to see it continue.
My pleasure. You're going to have to come back.
And this company whose name was everywhere, whether it was on trucks, on billboards, or in conversations, was Gunns Ltd.
In Parliament and in business, there's an old boys club.
Forestry is a big and powerful industry.
People are just so upset and so angry about what's happening to their forests.
It is a bloody jewel that should be treasured, and it's worth fighting for.
All it requires for evil to prosper is for good people to do nothing.
Lots of people who don't like Gunns Ltd in this state, and there's lots of people who aren't afraid to say so.
We just stood up for our community.
Potentially a real health risk associated with those wood chip piles.
When things are unjust, even if they are operating under the laws of Parliament, doesn't necessarily mean that it's right.
They're looking for you. I've just been served with a writ and your name's on the list as well.
We weren't under the impression that publicising political beliefs was a criminal activity.
Could not believe that a person could be sued for raising a public health issue.
The defendants are facing an enormous $1 billion company.
I'm not particularly proud of the fact that I'm being sued by Gunns. It's not easy, it's very emotionally taxing. Oh, it's been almost 2 years.
The reason for big companies suing individual activists is not in fact to be successful in their claim, but rather to tie the activists up in a long and emotionally taxing battle.
It will cost a fortune in legal fees, which far outweigh any of the damages that Gunns claim to have suffered.
The bankruptcy means that, you know, I would potentially lose my home.
What's happening? How can we have a democratic debate if people can't speak because they're afraid of being sued?
Gunns have gone too far. This is a corporation trying to manage how we engage with life.